guys, my name is Ryker, and today I'm going to be reviewing the Oban Wildlife Series 2B pencil. This pencil comes in a pack of 10, typically, and one of the first things you'll notice about Oban pencils in general, and the Wildlife Series in particular, is just really distinct designs. In this case, when you buy a pack of 10, there's actually 10 different animal skins or designs, I guess you could say, that come with it. In this case, we're looking at the tiger. And I mean, you'll see, just compared to your typical pencil, which is usually very basic and standard and kind of bland in design, Oban tries to be very distinctive, very eye-catching, and I think they've done a good job, especially with the Wildlife Series, which is one of their most popular series. Now, one of the most interesting things about Oban pencils in general is that they're made from newspaper, and that has two major benefits. One is it's much more eco-friendly than wood. You're not cutting down any trees to make Oban pencils. You're basically taking recycled newspaper, newspaper that's been discarded, and extending its life cycle. You're turning it into a new product. So like I said, no trees need to be cut down to produce them. And the other really good benefit of it is it actually protects the graphite inside better than a wood pencil does, which might be kind of surprising to most people, because you'll go, well, wood is a lot stronger than newspaper. Why would that be? Well, let me show you. With a regular wood pencil, you're basically taking two halves of wood. You're cutting a mold out where the graphite would fit, and you're sticking it around the graphite. Now, because that mold is never perfect, when you drop the pencil, the graphite tends to rattle around inside, and it's not super secure, so it tends to break. Any kid will tell you that's the biggest problem with wood pencils is that they break all the time every time you drop them. Now, with an Oban pencil, completely different. The newspaper is wrapped so tight around the graphite because it's machine rolled. There's no mold or anything like that, and it just cushions it so well that you can, you basically can drop it and it's not going to break. It's just a lot sturdier, a lot more durable. So that's just kind of a major benefit there. And because it doesn't break when you drop it, it tends to last twice, maybe 3 times as long as a regular wood pencil does in some cases. So that's really, really good. Now I'm going to sharpen an Oban pencil because I want to show you what the actual newspaper looks like when you sharpen it. A lot of people go, well, okay, it's a newspaper pencil. That's kind of weird. How does it sharpen a regular sharpener? They want to know. And you'll notice that it actually sharpens really, really well. I've used them in electric sharpeners. There's no problem whatsoever. And it's actually one of the highlights of playing around with a pencil like this, because when you sharpen it, you see there it sharpened really well. Should make it a little bit sharper. You're actually getting these little rolled up pieces of newspaper. And you know how clear this is on camera, but if you actually were to look at it carefully, in some cases you can actually see the newspaper characters of the writing that's still on it. So I always like to joke around people, you can get your news that way if you want to. And you also see that the edge of the pencil has these really nice, kind of like layers, and it just makes the pencil overall a lot more attractive. There's no eraser on the pencil, which is probably one of the bigger criticisms. The reason why Oban does this, a couple reasons. One, the erasers just don't work very well, and a company that's trying to be eco-friendly, they're basically going, well, it doesn't work very well. Why put in the effort, the money, and spend the resources, to put it on there if it just doesn't do a very good job. They're trying to basically put together a really high-quality, eco-friendly pencil that's not super expensive, and one of the things they just say, I guess, feel is unnecessary is that eraser. They also like their pencils to look really attractive, I think. They're all about design, Oban, and they feel like maybe attaching a metal ferrule and an eraser to the end of this just kind of takes away from the design a little bit. As you can see, instead of doing that, they have a nice little capped matte black finish on the top right there. Ends up looking really sweet. Now, if I was going to compare actually writing with this pencil, it's a 2B graphite, and what that basically means is it's just a little bit darker than your typical number 2 pencil in the States. So your typical number 2 pencil gives you that kind of line, and the Oban pencil is a little darker. And you'll notice, it's hard for me to show you, but when you actually use one of these pencils, the graphite in it, it's actually really high quality graphite. It's really nice. They've gone to a lot of trouble to put a nice piece of graphite in here, and so it writes beautifully. It's really smooth, it's really soft. So once again, even though it's an eco-friendly product, they're trying really hard to also be a quality product and to be bright and colorful and just kind of appeal to people. And like I said before, the Wildlife series, one of their best-selling series, and the Tiger, my personal favorite. I really like this particular pencil. I just think it's so eye-catching. Definitely check them out. You can see a lot of their products at myoban.com, and yeah, I think it's just a great product, and I think anybody that uses it or gets a chance to would be very happy with it. This has been Ryker, and I'll see you guys again soon.